Welcome back to the channel. Since I went over what I felt were the best anime series of all time, I decided to delve into another equally important topic: cartoon characters. I will present to you 2 characters every week that made the list. To make this list fair, I have added some stipulations. 1. No anime characters. I know you may be thinking I don't value anime as cartoons, nor do I think they are worthy of being on a list such as this. Both are untrue. Why I decided to exclude them because anime is very unique. And if I were to add them, a lot of cartoon characters would lose spots on this list. By the way, I adore anime. Besides, to many people, anime isn't looked at as cartoons, at least in the traditional sense. But that doesn't mean they will have no place on this list by proxy. See, a few Japanese studio anime cartoons for the Western market, they are included in this list, such as Optimus Prime and Inspector Gadget. The former was technically turned into an anime later on, but it was initially created for the Western market. Don't worry, these types of picks are kept to a minimum. Besides, anime will get its list with a top 50. Stay tuned for that one down the line. Number 2, limited to only 5 adult animation characters. I know what you might be thinking. Yes, they are cartoon characters, and you would be right completely. But with this list, we are recognizing cartoon characters that were a part of childhood TV viewing. But since they are cartoon characters, I have to include them. But I am limiting them to only 5. 2 of them are very obvious choices. You can guess the characters from these 2 shows. Once again, I am sticking to characters that played a part in our youth and made us love animation growing up. By the way, a character from the Jetsons and the Flintstones is on this list. I know they were initially shown in primetime, but they were later associated with Saturday morning cartoon fare and syndicated cartoon fare as well. Leaving them off would be unfair. In other words, they are not a part of the 5. Number 3, less reliance on comic book characters. Even though these characters do have a place in animation history, they are widely known for their appearances in comics. Knowing myself, I would add so many of them that a lot of the characters would lose potential spots on the list and dilute it as well. Don't get me wrong. There are some on this list. You can make an educated guess on which ones are there. What I'm trying to say is that I will not oversaturate this list with many superheroes. This list will lean towards original IPs and creations made specifically for television. Okay, now, with those out of the way, it's time to present to you the top 100 greatest characters of all time. As usual, let me know what you think of the picks, their placements, and whether you agree with them or not. It's all open for discussion. So without further ado, I present number 100. My 100th pick isn't only a cartoon classic, but also animation's very first star attraction. A character that sat at the genesis of animation itself. I speak of Felix the Cat. To say that Felix the Cat is an icon would be both an understatement and inaccurate. The character has gotten his start during the animation boom that started to take place in the 1910s. The character has always been marred with some controversy as to who truly created the character. 2 men, Pat Sullivan, a man who struggled to get his works seen by the masses, and Otto Messmer, a man who had a dream to become someone great in animation upon seeing his very first animation film. Two men struggled with claiming ownership of Felix. Whether you believe that it was either Pat or Otto who created the character, that's not as important as the impact that Felix had on animation in its infant years. At one time, Felix was Mickey Mouse and Bugs Bunny rolled into one. Ever since his first cartoon, 1919's Felix Follies, the cartoon cat was the talk of the town. To know more about the history of Felix the Cat, delve into my two-part episode discussing it. As for the character itself, Felix managed to have 9 lives as he dealt with being replaced by cartoon stars that would define animation itself after a failed attempt to stay afloat with the Van Buren shorts. But when Otto Messmer finally gained control of the character, he would pass the reins to Joe Oriolo, and the rest was history. It would be Joe's rendition of Felix that made the cartoon feline recognizable to this day. It all started with the syndicated animated series bearing his name, and this in turn birthed the very underappreciated and underrated The Twisted Tales of Felix the Cat, which aired on CBS in 1995. A cartoon series that wasn't too well received, but looking back, the series' DNA ended up being in many anime series after its cancellation. For me, I never grew up on Felix the Cat, but upon doing the history of the character, I grew in absolute fondness for the character, courtesy of the syndicated series, and that very catchy theme song. Heck, the logo for this channel is a take on Felix's magical bag. If that's not inspiration, then I don't know what to tell you. What drew me to Felix was the character's charm. He was the first cartoon character that evolved with the times. The character started out as a silent star and mischievous. Then he morphed into a character that was unassuming and clever, something that many cartoon characters would pattern themselves after. That's the beauty of this character. He embodies what animation is about. He's the blueprint for every cartoon character in existence. While he may not have the charm of Bugs Bunny and Mickey Mouse, or the absolute wackiness of Daffy Duck, Felix stands as a character that embodies the traits of what a cartoon character should be. Just plain fun. Today, Felix may not be as remembered as his other cartoon counterparts, but there is no denying that without Felix the Cat, animation wouldn't have been what it is today. Maybe one day, Felix will return hugely to the center stage. Only time can tell. Because you know why?
Felix the cat, the wonderful, wonderful cat. Whenever he gets in a fix, he reaches into his bag of tricks. Felix the cat, the wonderful, wonderful cat. You laugh so much your sides will ache, your heart will go pit-a-pat. Watching Felix, the wonderful cat.